Sorry, three.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Wanted to do a short video today about my experience on getting a vasectomy. I just got my vasectomy taken care of 9 o'clock this morning. I was really nervous the past 2 weeks leading up to it, and I went ahead and made sure that I scheduled the vasectomy on a Friday because I've always heard that it would take probably 2 or 3 days for recovery on something like that. I wanted to make sure that I had the time allotted to hang around the house and not stress myself out and not lift and move around heavy things and all that type of stuff. So initially I got to the doctor's office this morning around 8:45, filled out some paperwork, and I was pretty nervous the whole entire time because I'm pretty sure, like everybody else, you're thinking about the fact of somebody holding a knife to your nutsack and cutting a small hole in it and pulling out your insides and making cuts and all that type of stuff, which is, the main thing that's been going through my head for the past couple of weeks. And so I was pretty nervous going into it. But anyway, when you finally decide that you want to go ahead and do it, then it needs to be done. So, I'm 37 years old. I have 3 kids, and I feel like I'm done. I'm done raising kids. So, on to bigger and better things. So anyway, I got to the doctor's office this morning about 8:45, filled out some paperwork. They took me back to the back, went ahead and put an IV in my arm, and they gave me a local anesthetic to kind of, I guess, mellow me out. I wanted to take an Ativan with me because I have prescribed Ativan for anxiety purposes, and I wanted to take one with me because I knew I was going to be flipping out, and but they told me they were going to give me a local anesthetic, so I went ahead and decided not to. So anyway, they went ahead and gave me an IV, gave me a local anesthetic, made me strip down, let me leave my shirt on, but they made me strip down from the waist down, get up on the chair, cover myself up with a paper blanket. So once I sat on the table and I had the paper blanket on me, the IV prep was in my arm, the doctor came in, and they laid me back, lifted me up about 4 feet off the ground, and I was awake for the entire procedure. The doctor went ahead and gave me 2 shots of their local anesthetic, which I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head. Versed, I think, was the name of the anesthetic that they gave me. 2 shots of that, and instantly I was feeling calm, a lot more calm than I was when I first went in there. Of course, the doctor had his assistant with him as well, along with the male nurse that was with him. And so lo and behold, I was, laying there with my junk hanging out in front of 3 separate, people that all had their hand in my situation. But basically what it came down to, once the anesthetic took hold of me, I calmed down. They lifted up the paper blanket and they started going to work. Basically, the doctor made the small incision, below my penis, right below the base of my penis and my nutsack. And the whole time I could feel what was going on. It wasn't really too painful initially. I was just really trying not to think about it as much as possible. But, I could feel, what I started feeling the most is when they started cauterizing the ends of the vessels, of the tubes. And as they were cauterizing the end of the tubes, I mean, it almost feels like, if you can imagine grabbing one of your nuts and squeezing real hard, and the sensation that you get going into your stomach, that's what I can compare it to. And it was to the point to where I actually reacted, and made a sound and kind of pulled, I didn't pull away, but I wanted to. And the doctor saw that this was uncomfortable for me and, kind of just reassured me. And so I kind of just basically stuck that portion of it out as they were cauterizing the ends. And then once they cauterized the ends, I want to say that was the most uncomfortable part of the procedure. I didn't feel them make any type of incision or anything like that. There was a numbing cream that was applied prior to any other part of this process. So I think the numbing cream helped out pretty well. I didn't feel the incision. The only thing I really felt that I could really complain about was the cauterizing process of the vessels. Once that was all said and done, doctor jumped up, walked outside, nurse came in, and there was the assistant stuck behind and stitched me up. And after she stitched me up, she taped my balls up pretty good to where they would provide the tape job that she did on my balls, kind of help support the balls to where they're not hanging and swinging around and causing pain. So she stitched me up, taped me up, and nurse's assistant came in there and asked me how I was feeling and all that type of stuff, and basically asked me if I brought my jock strap like they recommended, and thankfully I did. And that's one thing I will highly recommend, is that when they tell you to bring a jock strap, it's something that you really need to do, because the last thing you want is your balls swinging or even hanging or even staying or even making their way anywhere far from your body. I mean, they need to stay as close to your body as they can, especially after a procedure like this. I didn't think I was going to be really comfortable wearing the jock strap, but to be honest with you, it's helped me out tremendously. As far as pain goes, after the fact, after the procedure, it wasn't too bad. I was kind of woozy from the anesthetic when I walked out of the doctor's office and got in the vehicle. So I was still, under the anesthesia for a good half hour after I left. But once the anesthesia started wearing off, I started feeling, the sensation of somebody basically kicking you in the nuts. The stomach pressure, the stomach pain that you get that's associated with squeezing your balls or getting punched or kicked in the nuts. That's the prominent feeling right there. I mean, that's what you're gonna get more of that than anything else versus pain. Incision area is not painful at all. Your ball sack, of course, is tender, but as long as you got that jock strap on and you have that tape job done, then you should be okay, as long as you don't sit down too hard. You got to be real easy when you sit down and stuff like that. So the doctor prescribed me, I can't remember the medication that they prescribed me. I think it was tramadol is what the doctor prescribed me to begin with, but I'm not really, I don't work too well with tramadol. Tramadol doesn't work too well with me. It makes me nauseated, and I don't really like the way it makes me feel. So I called and let him know, and he didn't have any problem with going ahead and just sending in another prescription for Norco 10s, which, that's cool as well, because, I've had other issues in the past with pain, and Norco has always been, the go-to drug as far as, matching any type of pain symptoms for anything else. So, I took a 5 this afternoon, a 5 milligram this afternoon, and I took a 5 milligram this evening, taking it easy. This is my first day, my first evening in, and I'm feeling okay, not too bad. There's not any long-term lasting effects that I can see. I work construction, I work hard physically, so I think when I go back to work on Monday, I'm just going to have to be extra careful with bending over and lifting up heavy objects. I think that's my main concern, because we all know whenever you bend, stand, and lift heavy objects, your balls start moving around and all that type of stuff. So I think that's going to be my main concern. I think that's going to be the big test to see how everything goes. But I'm not going to dive right into it. I'm going to be careful about it for sure. You got to leave your jock strap on for 2 days, or you have to wear your jock strap for 7 days. They went ahead and they told me that I couldn't take a shower for 2 days. So today's Friday evening. I had my procedure done this morning. I'm not going to be able to take a shower till Sunday. So I'm curious to see what the jock strap's going to be like at that point. I think while I take a shower on Sunday, I'm going to go ahead and give the jock strap a good wash and lay down until that whole process is done, and then see what happens Monday morning when I go back to work. But other than that, it's a pretty simple process. I think the whole procedure probably took me about 20 minutes when I was in the operating room. Which actually, I'm not going to say operating room, was actually at the urologist's office. They did it there on site. So there wasn't, too much special equipment or anything like that necessary. I didn't have to go to a hospital or an actual operating room per se. So, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. This is day 1. Keep my jock strap on. Don't bathe. Take my pain meds as necessary. And we'll go from there. I'll give you guys another video tomorrow evening, and give you an update of how I'm feeling and if anything's changed between now and then. All right, you guys have a good evening.